not my normal stream time. The patch just went live for the Herzal's workshop update, and I thought I would do a very short review of the patch. Both the the major features. With this, the feature here is the mod. Also go over the changes to cards in the game. Just so you're aware, if you've been following my review to all Monster Train cards, I have just about finished the last one, which is covering the clanless cards. And with that update, I will be revising a lot of the cards, especially those that had changes based on some of it's my perception after having thought about it and sat on it for a little while, and some of it's due to this patch. So after that should be going live tomorrow, the 23rd of October. With that update, then we will have a finalized rating for every card in Monster Train, updated through the most recent patch. But for now, let's quickly jump into the workshop update and just talk to what are the changes, what's coming, and my impressions on the gameplay changes. So let's start at the top. So Herzal's Workshop and official mod support. There's now a new mod settings button on the main menu, and I'll show you where that is once we get into Monster Train. You can go to the official Steam Workshop. I already have the workshop up, and I will show you how to install mods. And then, as noted here, and I think this is very important, note that mods can cause bugs, including crashes, and not everything has been tested for every mod, and they're not supported by the Monster Train development team. So then you need to contact the mod owners. You can do that through the workshop. I'll show you where to do that when we get into it, to inform them of any bugs so that they can address them or ignore them, depending on the person making the mod. In addition, there's Halloween decorations. Cool. Limited time, Bone Dog is significantly more common. It's a good opportunity if you haven't got it yet to already master it. I think I've seen Bone Dog's favor maybe 5 times in all the time I've been playing, where I could actually get it. That's not including when I've repeated level or repeated runs or things like that, where it doesn't count as an achievement. But I think there's been 5 times where I've just found it in the wild, where I could have gotten it as an achievement. So the new features, we have mods, official mod support, and again, I'm going to do a short mod enabling guide, how to enable them. Halloween, for a limited time, you'll see holiday-themed graphics in the game, and Bone Dog's Favor is now in his own Concealed Cavern event and is much more common. The own Concealed Cavern event is permanent. The much more common is not permanent. Settings have a colorblind option. That's really good. I'm not colorblind, but for those that are colorblind, I'm sure this is a very nice feature for you. Here's an overview of the mods. We'll go over that in just a minute. They're doing a stream right now, so yeah, go catch that stream, or you can watch my video. Let's talk about the gameplay changes. So very beginning, moved Bone Dog to his own event and removed him from the Potions event, made Bone Dog much more common. Again, the much more common, I think, is temporary, but his own event is now permanent. That does shift permanent or events a little bit differently, and it does mean he can't get drawn from the Potion event. So, I mean, it's minor changes. I wouldn't really think about that too much. Gameplay changes. Rector Flicker's Dark Calling path has upgraded. Stats have been increased at all levels. Bonus attack at Reform has gone at level 1 from 0 to 5, and from level 2 to 5 to 10. I think level 3 is unchanged. Gameplay rate changed. Razor Sharp, and actually I think that's good. So Dark Calling is the weakest of the 3 paths right now. I need to see what the new stats are. We'll jump into that in a minute. But the bonus attack at level 1 is certainly valuable. That's where he's the weakest. Later on, he's much stronger because you're getting extra stats onto those units. But certainly in the first few levels, he can become very, very weak. And then hopefully the stat buffs is enough that he's living a lot longer. That's the other problem with Rector Flickers. He dies quite easily on the Dark Calling path. Razor Sharp Edge changed it again to remove confusion. What this changed, and I talked about this when I did the review, I think. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed Razor Sharp Edge. But anyway, it used to be that it lowered current and max health. Then they changed it to be that it's current and max health if they're at max health. And then they changed it to be only max health. And now they're changing it to be always that it's lowering current and max health together. So if you see a unit with 2 and you use Razor Sharp Edge, it will die regardless of its maximum health. So it lowers both. It always lowers current health and always lowers max health. And I think that helps clarity there. Because I've even had it myself. It took me a while to realize after they patched it that it was only applying to max health, and that your enemies that had 4 health and then had gotten hit once down to 2 health, they weren't dying from Razor Sharp Edge. Emberstone can be applied to X-Cost cards. That is a buff to every single X-Cost card. We'll talk about that in the upcoming review of clanless cards, how that affects everything. But that buff is really strong. Some in particular highlights is the Awoken's Rail Spike. Now you can put -1 on it, and it will draw 1 card for free and make it -2 cost. So at 0 cost, it draws 1 and makes it free. On the, what is it called? The Umbra X-Cost cards, all of them value, but especially, what is it called? It's one that generates Ember. Now that will generate Ember from 0 cost, so you can generate 2 Ember out of it. That makes it a brand new Ember generating card for Ember Drain decks, which is really good. It used to not really work that way. Now that can work that way. So that's a really good buff to that card. And then, of course, any of the other spikes are all going to take benefit from the increased value you can get out of them. Gameplay. Using a reform card when there's only 1 possible in your consume pile will skip the deck screen and immediately reform that unit. Okay, that's a quality of life change. It's not a gameplay change necessarily. Increased Gorge stat gain for Penumbra's Glutton path. That's pretty good. I tend to not go Glutton. I tend to go Monstrous or Architect. I find them to be much more consistent. I'll check the stat gain. That could be pretty good, depending on how much that increases. Gameplay. Increased stats of Solgard's Titan Channel at level 1 and decreased shard requirement at level 2. I actually think that he didn't need a buff. I think Titan Channel is fantastic already, but with a buff, it's even better. I think it is the second best of the paths. I think the best path is still Dire Channel. It's the most consistent path. And Titan Channel, I think, is a clear second place, with the Cold Channel as a third place. That's my personal preference. All 3 work rather well. They're some of the strongest, but I'll go into more detail with that with the champion review. Hollow Drippings burnout increased from 3 to 5. Certainly better. That may push this up. Currently I have it as a C+. This will probably bump it up to a B, because 5 burnout is pretty good to add instantly. Purifying Cleanse, this was a C as well. Increases from 10 to 15 and increases from 2 to 3. This pushes it out of C range. This pushes it up into a B range as well. The increased burnout is certainly welcome. Wicklash attack buff increased from 5 to 10. I don't think this changes its slot, but it's certainly a welcome buff on Wicklash. The main reason for Wicklash, and this is actually quite good for this reason as well, is Wicklash over the others, is that if the unit dies, they don't care about the extra burnout they gained. But if a unit dies that had Wicklash, it actually benefits it on future reforms. So having that reform increase double is certainly going to be good. I think this definitely improves it. I'm not sure that it pushes it into an A status, but it's certainly still a B+ status. Perils of Production Rage increased from 2 to 3. I don't think that pushes its slot. You don't really play Perils of Production for the Rage bonus, but it's certainly welcome. Rail Beater's Armor bonus increased from 25 to 30. I don't think that fixes Rail Beater. I think it's still a C- level card. But I mean, a little bit of extra armor is certainly not going to hurt. Mollusk Mage stats increased or changed to a 5/3 with +8 magic power. It was a 7/1 before. I think it's still not strong enough. It's still a C level card. maybe C plus level card, but I don't think this changes its rating too much. It does make it a little bit more survivable, which is good. And you certainly weren't taking Mollusk Mage for his attack damage. So having him be a little bit more survivable is fine. Cuddle Hex has the same change. So this is a very, very minor buff, but I don't think it pushes their rank position at all, because they're still very situational. They're not just cards. Cuddle Hex is a little bit less situational. Frozen is almost always pretty good in a deck, so maybe Cuddle Hex gets changed, but certainly Mollusk Mage doesn't. You really have to take advantage of the power. You're not playing it for its stats. Preserve Thorn's Ember cost increased from 0 to 1. This is actually a pretty significant nerf. I had it as an A. This probably puts it down to a B+. Still a really good card, because you still get 4 encants out of it. You still get 3 draw out of it. You still get 30 damage. But the 1 cost, it does make a difference. It means you can't consumer move and make it a 0 cost. So I think this is not an auto pick now like it was. I would still take it in a lot of cases, but playing it for 1 is certainly not as good as playing it for 0. Removed the rage bonus for Furnace Tap. I think that makes total sense. This actually would drop this down into maybe an A. I never understood why it had rage. I didn't think it needed it. I think the idea is that now they've put all rage onto Perils of Production rather than on Furnace Tap. But you weren't taking Furnace Tap for the rage. You're taking Furnace Tap for the multi-strike. I still think it's probably S status, but it's certainly borderline now, where you could say this is maybe more of an A. But I do think this is a smart change. Engine, okay. Improve load times and reduce peak memory consumption. That's fine. Bug fixes, okay. And clarify that Endless works on eaten units as well. Okay. Cool. So yeah, all in all, I think Melting Remnant got a pretty good buff here in both Rector Flicker with the reform improvements. The changes to Burnout will certainly smooth over a lot of the issues with reform and Burnout based decks. This does not affect any of the Little Fade decks too much, because Little Fade, typically you weren't relying so much on Burnout, and even if you did, you were taking Little Fade with Firelight, and then you didn't really care about so much of the cards you were playing. You were getting most of your Burnout from Little Fade herself. But certainly Rector Flicker Reform got massive buffs, and in general Burnout got buffs, so that's always good. Umbra, it's like, I don't know, 6s. It doesn't really change too much. You move 1 of the rage over to here, and you lose 1 rage overall for Ember Drain package. But the Ember Drain package hasn't really been affected too much here. Rail Beater bonus is basically nothing. Gorge, we need to see how that affects Glutton Path. Certainly a buff to Soul Guard Titan's Channel. I'm not even certain we needed it, but that's good. The biggest, most impactful change out of all of this is the Ember Stone can be applied to X-Cost cards. I'm really, really glad they added that in. I think it really improves every one of the X-Cost cards. And as I said, I'll go through and update how does this affect all of them so far. Razor Sharp Edge got a extremely minor buff, and that's a little bit easier to kill off units if you can damage them, get into 2 health, and then you can kill them off with Razor Sharp Edge. Cool. So enough about how to do that, or enough about how to review or a review of the patch. Let's jump into how to do mods. So first thing you want to do is go into Steam and go into the community workshop. Is this showing up properly? Doesn't look like it's showing up properly. Community. Let me see. Steam, where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay, so now it's the correct one. So we're in, no we're not, this isn't right. Properties. Take me into Steam. There we go. Okay, so we're in the community section. We want to go to Monster Train. And we want to go to the workshop. There's also a direct link. If you go into your library and click on Workshop, it'll also just take you directly there. First thing you want to do is install the Trainworks mod tools. This is mandatory for every single one of the mods. The way that you add it is you subscribe. Then you'll see that it's downloading here from the workshop content in the background. We're going to go through and install a whole bunch of mods right now because I'll definitely be playing them later. Arcadian Clan, this was done by Chronometics, who was featured in the recent stream. I am certainly going to be playing around with this. It's an entire clan, everything. So champion, all new cards, all new artwork. I don't think the artwork is 100% yet, but still it's really cool. I've seen some other players playing it. So really exciting stuff there. So I subscribed there as well. Let's get a few more mods. Restart button. Sure, why not? Add a restart button. This is done by, I believe, who owns this one? This might actually be created by Owenel. Okay. Let's keep looking. What else? We got the mod loader. We got the Arcadian Clan. Oh, we need mod loader. Yeah, we need both of these. So mod loader is, sorry, I made a mistake. So mod loader is the base mod you need for everything. Then on top of that, you need Trainworks if you have anything that is content related. So if you have anything that's adding new content, you have to have this for content edition mods. Let's do the skip intro FMV, subscribe, and what else do we want to grab? Let's grab, there's only 18 mods right now. Don't want that, don't want that. I don't want any of these ones that just, let's do Spooky Stewards and Shiny Stewards. Anything else? I think that's good for now. Okay, so we've subscribed to a whole bunch of mods. They're currently all being installed. So it's taking a minute to install the mods. Then this does not mean that they are active. This means that they are ready to be used. When I go into Monster Train now, and let me then switch over into Monster Train. So you see the nice Halloween theme. Now there is a section called Mod Settings. And we need to turn on mods. So we do on here. We need to turn on Trainworks mods. We will turn off Arcadian Clan. Let's keep all the rest of them. We'll turn off Spooky Stewards. We'll keep Shiny Stewards. And now all of these mods that are on, I need to click Apply. And this will automatically cause the game to restart. Or it'll cause the game to quit. Now the mods are all enabled in the background. And then when I reload Monster Train again, just a minute. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Wait for it, wait for it. It's really thinking about it. I think it's doing all the background stuff with the files. And then I will be able to reopen it. Maybe. Maybe we can reopen it. Okay, takes a minute, I guess. This has been a long minute. There we go. Now when we load Monster Train, it has all of those changes included. So there's no intro mod, or there's no intro video. Skips right into the game. If we look at Train Stewards, I don't think in the logbook it changes them necessarily. Let me see. Oops, clan lists. It doesn't change them here. It changes them when you play them. Let's see all the ones we installed. We installed restart bot. Okay, and so there's now if I go into the standard runs, let's just get into this. We'll quit this in a second. But now, when I go into a boss battle, let's just get into one quickly. Also seems to have reset all of my sound settings. Oh no, they're good. Oh, my sound's just loud. Okay, let's just get into it. Now all these mods have been applied. So I have the train stewards that have the heads of different... Oh, it got overridden by the pumpkin. But they're now called shiny stewards. That's funny. But I also have... Where's my restart battle button? Didn't I add the restart battle button mod? Oh, here it is. It's over here. So then I can just do that. It reloads the battle entirely from the beginning, which saves you a lot of time if you were doing that before. So there you go. So that's how mods are working. So there's the restart battle button mod. There's the shiny steward mod. There is... I'm actually not. It's only 8:30. Yeah, that's right. Bottom left here. And then, yeah. So that's how to get mods installed. Last little bit we'll do before we finish. We'll later come and do the Arcadian. We'll do some other stuff later. Yeah, no, shiny stewards didn't work. Didn't work because of the... I should mention this. Shiny stewards seems to be overridden by the Halloween update. Overwritten. They are still called shiny stewards, but they have pumpkin heads. And that's also, if you have an issue with a mod, that's what you do. You open up the mod directly from the settings. So if I, for example, if I had an issue here, let's go to the restart button. And I'll just put, couldn't find the button. It is in the bottom right of the screen next to your current Ember. I mean, it's clear here, right? Like it has a big arrow to it. So I won't even write that, but that's basically what you can do. So you can go right into the mods that you have installed. And if there's any bugs or issues with them, that's what you do. You click on this magnifying glass. It'll take you right into the mod, and then you can comment on the issues. Cool. So that's where we're going to start now. Last thing I'm going to do before I quit is go into the logbook, because there's a couple of the changes I didn't get to see the details of. Those are champion changes. So we had changes to Soulguard Titan's channel. Base is now 45-45. This now only takes 10. Okay. Yeah, seems fine. This improvement's not much. It went from 40-40 to 45-45. So there are some edge cases where Soulguard the Titan's channel is now Soulguard the Mighty is a little bit better. But as I said, I think Soulguard was already good. I don't think that it needed a buff, but I mean, it's fine. Yeah, the patch notes are in the Steam. If you go into it and go into Community Hub, the first link is the workshop update. Yeah, so go into Steam, click on Monster Train, go to the Community Hub, and the update with all of the details are there. The other one that changed is holy crap, 15 damage and 6 health per gorge on Glutton. So it used to be 3 and 1. Now it's +4, +2. That's a decent buff. This used to be 6 and 3. Now it's 9 and 4. This used to be 9 and 6. Now it's 15 and 6. That's a really huge buff. That's really good. Because the biggest problem with George the Penumbra was that he just didn't get enough damage quickly enough. That is a massive buff. Can you imagine an early Shroud spike on Penumbra now? You get like 6 Gorges. That's 90 damage on the Penumbra in like the first turn if you happen to get a 3 Ember cost Shroud spike. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, we will be testing this later. Not today because I'm just going to do a short stream. But next time we play, I may do Penumbra. The last change was to Rector Flicker, Dark Calling. So now the stat changes. What was it, a 10-10 before? Now it's a 15-15 with +5 additional damage on the first level, which is certainly a buff. +10 on the second level and 30-30. That's really good. This was a 20-20 before. So this was a pretty minor improvement. This is a pretty big improvement. That's 10 damage, 10 health. And then this was a 40-40, and now it's adding, I think it was 15 was before. So really, really good buffs all across the board for Dark Calling. That's going to help out a lot. Because Dark Calling was certainly the weakest compared to Accumulator and Burn Bright. So that's going to be it. I know it's a very short stream. Sorry, some of you guys are just jumping in now. But also, if you want, you can also see patch notes here. And here's all the recent patch notes as well. But yeah, that video is going to go up on YouTube, I don't know, later tonight. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the stream at the normal time tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching this little bit, and we'll be back in, I don't know, 10 hours or so. See you in a minute.